Hello everyone. We're continuing on with Depression Quest. I don't think we need an explanation, so I'm just gonna get right into the game. It's an early winter evening, and even though it's not particularly late, the time of year has lent the sky an almost prematurely darkened cast. Day after day, just like today, you trudge home from a job you have increasingly come to hate. On this day, your job misery seems to have reached critical mass, and not even shredding your rain-laden, uncomfortable work clothes help you to unwind from your work day. You collapse into your couch, blank and numb, while your job always seems to just be an unpleasant reality of existence. It was a position you sort of fell into unexpectedly, never intending to work there long term, and it's getting harder and harder to keep up. Well, it's certainly not your dream job. You've always just sort of stuck it out as necessity before, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to do that. Though you couldn't even begin to imagine what else could you do. You find yourself face to face with the question you just can't ignore. Is your complacency worth the price of this level of misery? What do you do? Well, there's only one thing we can do, so I guess we're just gonna do that. Grab the TV remote, wanting nothing more than to forget all about the terrible day you've had at work. You flip on the TV and let yourself get swallowed up by the couch. You grab your laptop to surf the internet while you watch TV, paying no real attention to either. You watch a few reruns of shows you're at best indifferent towards in a movie on that TV that's a few years old, all while you scroll idly through your Twitter feed. At the end of the night, you don't really feel any better, so much as you feel just numb, which is basically what you were going for anyways. Ultimately, it gets late enough that you tell yourself you should probably call it a night. You beat yourself up over the fact that you didn't accomplish anything this evening. But at least you managed to forget about your job for a couple of hours. As you fall asleep, you're acutely aware of the fact that a mere few hours sleep, you've got to do it all again. It's a little past 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. You're at your computer, frustration levels peaked, rubbing your eyes and sighing heavily. You're working on a project from your job that has you stretched to wits and trying to meet a looming deadline. And as it lurks closer and closer, you are seriously doubting your ability to get it done. You're dragging your feet a little at work due to your complete lack of energy lately. In spite of wanting to do a good job, you find yourself unable to push past it and feel horribly useless for it. You slide out your hands off of your face to look at your screen as it beeps at you. Attic. Hey, are you there? I really need to talk to someone about something. You feel like you're getting nowhere with your current task and you could probably use a break. However, you know that you have a history of getting distracted and then losing motivation to pick something back up again afterward. What do you do? Well, I guess we should answer Attic. I don't know. You're feeling like you've hit a brick wall with your task, so why not take a break and help out a friend? Hey, what's up? Oh good, you're there. I just found out I got cheated on. I don't know what to do. Oh no, that's horrible. The two of you talk for a long time and you lend a shoulder to your friend. You give him space to rant, to cry, and most importantly, to be able to voice his inner turmoil. You give him your full attention and take him through what his options are for what he does next. You keep him from doing something rash, and the two of you decide it's best for him to sleep on it before doing anything. Exhausted, he departs for bed and thanks you for being there to talk with him. As you close the IM window, you feel horribly sorry for your friend, but happy that you were able to help. It serves as a tangible reminder to you that you're capable of being useful to someone instead of solely being a mess that needs everyone else's help. You boot up your work project and find that you're suddenly able to get some solid progress done on it that night. That's good. At least we're doing something. Excuse me. Pardon me. My ear's itchy. Sorry. That's gross. Yet another sleepless Thursday night. You're at Alex's apartment, wide awake in bed, as she's sleeping peacefully beside you. She fell asleep hours ago, and you've been laying here unable to shut your brain up long enough to fall asleep. You've added the feelings of insecurity about your relationship to the rest of the noise in your head, keeping you up tonight. It was kind of a tense night between the two of you. You arrived after a stressful day at work, and as you made dinner together, you barely said a word. You were stuck in your own head and had a hard time really being present with her as your thoughts turned to all of the ways you feel like you're deficient at being a good person, and beating yourself up mentally for each one. She told you she could tell you we're in one of your moods, and said that she wouldn't push you, but missed talking to you as the two of you sat on the couch together. You wanted to tell her how much you loved her, but you couldn't make the words come out right and ended up sounding defensive instead. As you lay there next to her now, you trace your fingers across her arm slightly enough to not wake her. You still haven't explained your depression to her, and it's starting to feel more and more like a secret you're keeping instead of something she simply doesn't know about you yet. It's becoming more and more apparent that it's impacting your relationship with her, and you feel guilty about this. However, you're also terrified that if she knew exactly how fucked up you are, that she would leave you. You already worry that she's only with you because she doesn't realize how terrible of a person you are yet, and you're afraid that this would be the final thing to expose you. She stirs in her sleep and squints as she opens her eyes. With the confusion that comes up with waking up, she asks if you're awake, and then if everything's okay. We're not telling her to go back to sleep. We're gonna tell her about the situation. You feel like a jerk for accidentally waking her up, but you're afraid if you put this off any longer that you won't find the strength to tell her everything later. No, actually everything isn't okay. Can I tell you something? Something important? Alex sits up, rubbing the sleep out of her eyes. For the rest of the night, you lay side by side, holding hands, as you tell her everything. You tell her how it's more than just feeling sad sometimes, how you feel trapped by your own mind sometimes, how sometimes you feel nothing at all, and how you can't shake it off. She listens the entire time, occasionally asking questions about how this or that works, or asking you to explain something further. She squeezes your hand and tells you she understands, and that she's sad you didn't tell her sooner. After laying silent for a moment, the weight of what you did hits you. You desperately want her to say something, to tell you how she's feeling about all of this, but you're too afraid of what the answer would be to ask. You start convincing yourself that now that she knows everything, she's going to leave. There's no way someone could deal with how you really are. So how can I help? What do you need me to do? She asks. You think for a second, and the answer you come up with fills you with despair. I honestly don't know. I wish I knew how to fix this, but I don't know that you can do anything. I think it's something I just have to live with. She looks at you with sad eyes before kissing you on the forehead. Aww, then I'll live with it with you. I don't know how you could possibly love me. She rolls over and wraps her arms around your neck, settling her head on top of yours. You don't need to. Just know that I do. Aw. That's good. Okay, hang on. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. But, okay. It's a Friday night, and you're laying across your bed, feeling pathetic. As you were leaving work tonight, a group of co-workers asked if you wanted to join them for drinks. Feeling antisocial and put on the spot, you declined. You have a bad habit of doing this. You're often convinced that you were weird and terrible, and that any invitation to hang out will end in disappointment for those inviting you. You never feel like you know how to act in group outings, and you feel like a total creep, since it seems to come so naturally to anyone who isn't you. You find yourself petrified of breaking some unknown social rule that you don't often go out. Now, however, you find yourself alone at home. Your brain has begun telling you how pathetic and sad you are for being unable to just be a normal person and go out with nice people. You can't figure out why you can't just go out and meet people and enjoy yourself. At the same time, you're also feeling like no one would possibly want to hang out if they really knew you, because you're dull and weird anyway. You try your typical strategy and boot up Netflix to distract yourself from these feelings. The frustration with yourself builds, and you realize you have to do something else with your night. Anything else to take your mind off how awful and lonely you feel right now. What do? Obviously, we're not going to call Alex, or see if Attic is online, or get over and go out to the bar where your coworkers are hanging out anyway. Because we're not going to do that, apparently. I'm not going to resort to drinking. Going out somewhere alone, I don't think that would be a good idea. I think we're going to play with the cat. Because playing with cats are fun. Because cats are awesome. Nights like this, you are very glad you made the call to become a cat owner. Feeling too socially burnt out to interact with other people, you go find your cat. You get her to chase a laser pointer for a solid 30 minutes before she tires herself out. She pads over to you and collapses in a heap in your lap, crowing loudly. Though initially she hated being picked up, you carry her to the computer desk with you and she doesn't object. Setting her down in your lap, you comfortably surf the internet for a while before heading to bed. Having her here with you has a calming effect, and it makes you feel a lot less alone. Hey, I have a laser pointer somewhere, but it's broken. I didn't do it on purpose, but I did have a laser pointer, and it was fun. It's a cold Saturday afternoon. You just arrived at Alex's apartment and you're happy to see her after a week of absence due to your schedules not lining up due to work and school. You hug her in the doorway, but she breaks away sooner than normal and sits down on the couch as you take off your sneakers and lay them in the usual place, right next to hers. There's something I was hoping we could talk about, actually, she says. You feel anxious at hearing those words and move to take a seat on the couch. Your heart starts to race. Is this one of those we need to talk situations? Has she finally had enough of your baggage? Did the week apart make her realize how much better things are without you? Oh, that would be the worst thing that could happen here. I hope she doesn't do that. She sits down across from you on the couch, and you can tell by the look on her face that she isn't looking forward to saying what she is about to do. Whew. English. Still not good. And you feel your grip tighten on the couch cushion. So she starts. She breaks eye contact and takes a deep breath, which spikes your anxiety. I refuse. I don't want to read it. Nope. I know what's gonna happen. Fudge. Alright, I guess. So, things with us haven't kind of felt weird lately. It's like you've been really distant, and I'm not sure how to take it. I guess I just wanted to make sure you still want to do this. She noticed you gripping the couch. I know you have difficulties with your situation, She looks at your face, seemingly searching. I don't know how much it has to do with it, or if it has to do with me, or... I just want to know where we stand. She looks at you with uncertainty, and you can practically see the knot of pain in her chest. You try to rein in your knee-jerk reaction to run. Unsure what to say to that, your mind races. You know you have to choose your next words carefully. The self-deprecation rages in your mind, you try to think through it. You try to sort out what you really want to do here. A myriad of feelings is boiling inside you. Which one do you... Why is that there twice? That really confused me. Which one do you listen to? And things for her own good, you're clearly not making her happy. You still want this, say whatever you can to make her stay, regardless of your concerns. Yes, there has been distance. Attempt to solve it by asking her to move in. That's gonna make her even more... I don't know. I'm hating myself for thinking of the one to click. But I'm gonna have to go with number 2. And make her happy, because the only thing she's doing with staying with us is we're making her miserable as well. So, I guess we're ending it. You look at Alex's face and you feel your heart break. You never meant to hurt her, and you are torn up that you've caused her pain. It's an expression you're not unfamiliar with. It's one you've seen flash across her face many times during your time together. You can't help but feel like you've let her down, like you're a weight around her ankle. You're hit by this overpowering feeling of failure. You're supposed to be her partner, an uplifting influence on her life, not dragging her down to where you are. You think about the future. Where is this going anyway? You're not sure if you could ever be what she needs. Even though you've discussed your situation with her, you still fear that she doesn't realize the depths of how bad it gets. It's one thing for you to detail how you feel sometimes, and for her to see it pop up occasionally. It's an entirely different situation for it to be something she has to live with alongside the closer you get. You start to speak with the words choking your throat. None of this feels real. I think we should break up. Oh God. The words feel foreign as you speak them, as if they were a collection of sounds rather than the death knell for your relationship. Soon enough, both of you are in tears as you're talking through it. You're both devastated, but settle on breaking up. Reality hits you over the next few days, and you spiral into a very deep low. You withdraw entirely, and outside of work, your only interaction with another living creature is with your cat. It's going to take you a long time to get over her. But in the moments that you feel a brief clarity of mind, you take a small comfort in hoping that she can find someone who is better for her now. Oh man, that sucks. I don't know if I want to continue this. Well, yes, we gotta. It's December and you've returned to your parents' house to celebrate the holidays with your family. Out the living room window, you can see a gentle flurry of snow drifting down to meet the pristine blanket of white from yesterday's unexpected Christmas Eve snowfall, and you quietly laugh to yourself at how incredibly cliché it seems. Still, as you sit down to dinner, you can't help but notice how being surrounded by family and the overly kitschy atmosphere your mom's decorations have created have actually made you feel relaxed and almost comfortable. Your mom is running around frantically checking the oven and the stockings, just generally trying to family time it up, while your dad sits at the head of the table drinking a beer and laughing with your brother Malcolm. His wife Karen is there too. Oh yeah, I forgot! Our brother is married! Well, how did I forget that? You've always gotten along well with it, and your parents even agreed to let you bring your kitten along. She's been darting in and out of people's legs and hopping into laps all night. Ah, how adorable. As you thoughtfully munch away at your turkey, listening to the conversations around you, your thoughts drift back over the last few months. You think about how hard things have gotten, replaying over in your head some of your worst, as well as some of your best memories. It seems like all these things just came to a head over the past few months. With a sudden flurry of relationship turmoil and professional anxiety, social stress, and above all, an omnipresent sense of weight that it seems you have just recently become aware of. You're drawn out of your reverie by your dad's familiar booming laugh at some cheesy comment Malcolm made seems to have hit his mark. Sitting at the table, you're suddenly immensely glad for the chance to be able to ignore everything for an evening and not have to struggle trying to explain yourself for once. Fortunately, everyone seems to be content with laughing at each other's jokes and discussing favorite sports teams, and for a while you think you'll be able to get through dinner without any embarrassing personal intrusions. But no sooner did the thought cross your mind than the table conversation trickles off, leaving a slightly awkward silence to descend upon the dinner. So how are you doing these days? Your mom asks you pointedly. It's such a simple question, and one that you seem to have had to answer countless times recently. You take a moment to collect your thoughts, then looking up, you take a deep breath. Well? Oh, are we gonna tell her? Are we telling her? I really hope so. No doubt that depression is a battle, and it seems to have taken a particular toll on you. As the days go by, you find yourself interested in less and less. You think back to your life a few months ago, and compared to what you are now, it seems like you've just lost so much. Work has become unbearable as the thought of you dragging yourself day in and day out to a job you can't just stand so you can scrape through enough money together to do it all again the next day. It has ground your will down. Lately, your job performance has suffered tremendously. Your boss has already had a conversation with you about your absences. At this point, losing your job is not really a possibility. It's downright probable. Your personal relationships have deteriorated as well. While you could never describe yourself as a social butterfly, your constant flakiness and continuing withdrawal from your circle of friends has all but alienated them from you completely. Nowadays, you rarely see or speak to them, and what you do, the conversations are strained and per functionary. You almost never leave your apartment anymore. Your detachment from the world even ended up costing your relationship with Alex. While she made every effort to be supportive and understanding, your refusal to try to manage your situation forced her to have to choose between having to constantly look after you and pursuing her own goals. As she continued to excel in her program at school, she made it very clear on more than one occasion that she was dedicated fully to her education and career, and couldn't afford to be held back by somebody who insisted on being stagnant. The subsequent split was practically inevitable. You could never wrap your head around the whole notion of therapy and view it as anything other than invasive, refusing to admit you needed help. Your decision to try and tackle your depression on your own now seems woefully miscalculated. Your friends may have been willing to listen to you at first, but over time your reluctance to accept any of their advice simply drove them away, leaving you with little in the way of a support network, with nobody to vent, and an ability or unwillingness to seek help on your own. You quickly lost any desire to attempt to overcome your depression, and your downward spiral seemed to compound geometrically. Poring over the events of the past few months is, even now, exhausting and defeating. Looking at the person you were with mere months ago is almost surreal. It feels like a completely different person living a completely different life. In fact, it's hard for you to imagine never having had a life that wasn't completely devoid of feeling or drive. The prospect of trying to imagine what your future holds seems not only impossible, but irrelevant and of little interest to you, as your life has become just a series of trudges from one emotionally exhausting moment to the next. You look across the table to your mother, weakly meeting her gaze before dropping your eyes to the floor. You open your mouth to answer, but no words come out. You don't even bother pretending to try and think of what to say. Epilogue? Are we at the end? We really want to thank you for the time to play Depression Quest. We really realize it may not be the most enjoyable game you've ever played, or even the easiest, and we sincerely appreciate your involvement. Like depression itself, Depression Quest does not have an end, really. There is no neat resolution to depression, and it was important to us that Depression Quest's own resolution reflect that instead of a tidy ending, we want to just provide a series of outlooks to take moving forward after all. That's all we can really do with depression. Just keep moving forward, and at the end of the day, it's our outlook and support from people just like you that make all the difference in the world. Thanks again. Well, that looks like that's the end of the game. I mean, that wasn't fun, but it was an interesting adventure to go through, playing Depression Quest. Now I truly know what it's like for people to go through that, and before I end this video, I just want to say if any of you are going through depression, and if you're watching this or something, I just want to say that you can get help. There are people that will talk to you. Like, I don't know if this is a actual thing, but there's crisis text line. There's guidance counselors, there's parents, and there's other people that will help you. At least try and stop your I have no idea. I don't know how to talk about this stuff. I don't have any experience with experiencing depression. But if some of you out there are, then I fully support you, and I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. But it'll get better. Well, I don't know. It's not gonna get worse, but it will get better over time. You just need to fight the depression. Don't give in. And please, if you're having any suicidal thoughts, please talk to someone. I can't stand it if some of you are watching this, but you out there with depression and you're having suicidal thoughts. It'll be on my conscience knowing that some of you are not thinking right and ending your life, which I don't want. So please, let someone help you and overcome that. I don't know how to end this. It's not a very cheerful game, but if you guys want to go play this game, there will be a link in the description down below. And I hope you had an interest in watching this. If you did, hit that button down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Like always, I will catch you all in the next video. Stay awesome. Seriously though. Stay your awesome selves. Don't do that.